Showdown over audits has surfaced in the Tucson Unified School District. It's a critically important issue because audits evaluate how well districts run schools and spend taxpayer dollars.
We are now learning of a deeply rooted rift between the internal auditor and the superintendent of TUSD. 13 News Chief Investigative Reporter Valerie Cavazos explains what's happening.
The showdown played out in the public arena during the August 27th Governing Board meeting. A few weeks ago, 13 investigators learned of 6 finalized audits that the public had never seen. Now, before the meeting, I got my hands on one of them, student attendance, which we've already reported. This audit described several glaring concerns that could impact student achievement and the recommendations for improvement. Tonight, the rest of the audits and how the outcome of the showdown could impact the district's path. The public would have likely missed it. Placed in the consent agenda items, a request by the superintendent for a quality check of the internal audit function by an outside reviewer at a cost of up to $50,000.
There's no guidance on what happens when a finding is disputed between the administration and the internal auditor.
A board member asked for that consent item to be pulled out for discussion.
It seems as if we're questioning the validity of the auditor's work.
Trujillo recommended the district administration be involved in the selection of the reviewer candidates. But the audit committee fired back. Member John Blackshear took aim at the superintendent.
It is a blatant violation of best practices to have the CEO of an organization involved with anything to do with the independent auditor.
TUSD has only one, Martha Smith. She squared up and in detail defended the integrity of her work, 64 audits over the span of nearly 5 years.
While I am not in any way opposed to having a quality assurance, as a matter of fact, I welcome it, and I have nothing to hide.
She said it's a conflict of interest to have the superintendent evaluate or interfere with her audits and questioned Trujillo on why he has kept her latest audit hidden from the public.
So, Dr. Trujillo, why are you so adamant about not releasing a completed and final internal audit report?
This is what she's talking about. Before the board meeting, 6 final audits had not been seen by the public, dating back to September of last year. Equality, Diversity, and Inclusiveness, the latest audit. Exceptional Education Department, Student Attendance, Human Resources, Asset Management, Employee Relations, Stipends. Then after the board meeting, they all appeared on the district's website that included district responses for the first time since 2020. In the EDI report, Smith cited serious concerns, some that could lead to legal issues and financial penalties. She wrote, "The organizational structure is not conducive to an efficient and effective operation." She listed claims of unequitable hiring practices, staff working in a toxic work environment, improper payment practices, and overstaffing and minimal supervision. She concluded key findings indicate a pressing need to clarify the department's purpose and align it with the district's mission. Trujillo submitted a 221-page response to Smith's findings, noting the audit comes at a time of transition for the EDI department after the departure of the assistant superintendent of EDI. A credible source told 13 Investigates Trujillo wanted certain information eliminated from the audit before it was released.
I haven't seen a report in my time as a governing board member be so taken apart and requests to be for information to be redacted. I think that these requests kind of overstep transparency and accountability.
What about the other audit reports that were not released to the public, again dating back nearly a year ago? All but one, the ex-ed audit, had serious concerns. Smith concluded in the Employee Relations Stipends audit, the current processes and procedures were found to be convoluted, subject to human error, and result in multiple inaccuracies. In the HR and Asset Management audits, Smith concluded she cannot provide the governing board with reasonable assurance that the departments are performing effectively. Trujillo told the board.
And I think everything you've heard strongly justifies an outside independent voice that is not vested in management's view or the internal auditor's view or the audit committee's view. I would stand behind any external consultant coming in here and issuing those recommendations so that finally we could have clarity.
In the end, the board approved the independent audit review without the involvement of the district administration and internal audit chair in the selection process.
The ayes have it, 5-0.
We'll, of course, stay on top of these audits and follow the developments of this showdown. Valerie Cavazos, 13 Investigates.